Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Sybil Stewart, if we've not met, and I am so excited to introduce to you one of my modules, which is to sell with love and get to yes. So I created this business strategy series because I became aware of my I am, the things that my clients kept telling me about what it was that I was doing for them and how I was serving. And I said, how can I continue to serve even more women? How can I make sure that business and entrepreneurship is as accessible to as many women as possible? And when I realized that the advocacy work that I had been doing these last couple of years needed to expand, I wanted to make sure to not only test out everything, but also to figure out a way to make sure that it is consumable for a woman in business, regardless of what stage of business she is in. So, a little bit about me and my background. I spent about 15 years in global HR, but before that, I did a lot of sales. As a matter of fact, my first job out of college was selling airtime at a radio station. And then I moved on to sell what I call the two vulnerable moments. I sold bras and bridal gowns. And I got introduced into various types of selling pretty early in my career. And then even when I went into HR, I was still what someone called a serial entrepreneur. I ran a successful bakery. I started doing bridal consultation on the side. And I also did several years of recruiting for organizations that I worked for. So, all in all, I've been doing sales for about 20 years, but I never considered myself a formal sales professional. At one point, I said, well, I don't think I'm very good at this. But that came from the fact that I was not selling the right thing. I was not a good salesperson when I could not sell what I wanted to sell. And so the first thing I want to invite everyone to do right now is to think, what is your biggest challenge when you are selling your services? Take about 30 seconds and jot a few notes on your handout. What I found from working with most women is that selling is not the challenge for them. It's all of the other things that happen around the selling scenario. When I work with women and they say, oh, people love me once they meet me, then I say, well, then what's really at the root of why they can't generate consistent income, or why they haven't figured out how to get compensated, why they continue to do pro bono work rather than charge their value. And so when you're thinking through all of this, I want to dive in and talk about what we're going to cover. Tonight, we're sales and selling. What we're going to cover are 3 myths about sales and selling and how it's holding you back in your business. I'm going to talk about some practical ways to shift your personal definition of sales. I'm going to go through my 6 steps, my 6 elements to fall in love with sales. And then 3 actions you can take immediately to boost your confidence in selling to anyone. At the end of the day, I am here to help you learn how to choose you so that you teach others to choose you as well. Like I said, when I realized that what comes naturally to me is often scary for others, I wanted to figure out, how do I help women take the edge off what they feel is a business leap, which is, of course, starting this business that you're in, so that you can find your footing while you walk in faith. Because ultimately, this is a faith journey for you if you are a woman who is service-minded and you've exited your 9 to 5, or you're trying to figure out how to turn your side hustle into a full-time stream of income. All of that is about walking in faith, and I want to help take the edge off of that. I don't want you to think that this is a leap. I want to help you step intentionally into business and build confidently. So here's what happened when I stopped selling the wrong things. And definitely radio was the wrong thing because I didn't understand what it was. I didn't have enough information about what airtime is. I didn't know that that is how radio ads worked, and understanding the time frame of it and why people do or don't buy air sales. I was selling the wrong thing. And because I wasn't connected to the product that I was selling, I couldn't figure out how to deliver a compelling message to would-be buyers. It felt intangible to me. And if your product doesn't feel tangible to you, then you'll never feel good about sales. How do you feel about sales anyway? What do you think when you hear the word salesperson or saleswoman? Take a few moments and jot down your thoughts. So here's what I felt when I was selling airtime. Not only did I lack confidence, but it felt sleazy and selfish. It felt like I was inauthentic and irritating to people I would call. I always felt like I was intruding on someone's day or time. I felt loud and noisy and ill prepared, and I just wanted to run away and hide. I could have sooner been the person at the used car sales lot trying to give somebody a lemon. That's how I felt about sales. And if that's how you feel about sales, then how do you intend to run a business that makes a difference? If those are the words that you associate with selling, and you think that salespeople are sleazy or underhanded or manipulative, then that's really incongruent to who you are, right? It's almost like I'm a good person who has to do bad things. When in fact, the sleazy, you would not be interested in having this conversation right here to learn about how to improve your view of sales so you can continue to serve your clients well. So if you're feeling at conflict with setting your price or charging to value or following up appropriately with clients that could be, then I want to invite you to think that this might just be a skill you were not taught. But that's why we are here tonight. Most of us are not taught the art of yes. And in fact, we spend an inordinate amount of time practicing no, not only as consumers, but also telling ourselves, no, I'm not good enough for something. No, I'll never be good enough. And so if we are going to get to yes, we have to learn what our yes language is so that we can help the client say yes to us as well. Think about how often you tell yourself no. No, I'm not the expert. No, I don't have enough information. No, I think I'll just go back to school. You know what? No, I think I'll quit and go back to the job that I know I don't like. How often do you tell yourselves this story because selling just feels too hard? I want to help you hear your yes. I want for you to get paid to have amazing connections with people because you are helping them solve their biggest problems. I want to help you speak in your voice and help the client to feel seen and heard. So a little bit of how I fell in love with sales. Like I was in the two most vulnerable positions ever, right? I was in two very vulnerable industries. I was a lingerie specialist. I was selling bras, and I was in the bridal industry selling bridal gowns. And if you've ever met a lady who is preparing to get married, all of her insecurities come out, all of her vulnerabilities about her body and her shape and her image and how she's going to look on her one big day will come out. And each of us have gone through the awkward and strange transition from puberty into adulthood, and we can all connect and remember our first bra buying experience. So you see, I was in two really interesting industries, cutting my teeth on being a saleswoman, and I didn't even realize it. And then I think back to the moment I fell in love with sales. It was a particular bride. She was in her late teens, early 20s, and her budget was only about $300. At the end of her experience, she wrote me a letter and she said, "Thank you for helping me feel like $1,000,000. You turned my $300 into 3,000. I felt more beautiful on my wedding day than I have ever in my life." That is my most memorable client, and it's been almost 20 years since I interacted with my bride. Do you see what I did there? She was my bride. I helped her feel beautiful on that day. Yes, it was about the dress, but it was also the connection that I made with her, the experience that she got from the short 2 hours that we partnered together to build that dream day in her mind. So now I want to invite you and think, who is your most memorable client and why? What was that interaction for you? What did you help them do? What dream did you help them achieve? Take a few moments and write that down and remind yourself, those are the moments to fall in love with. Okay, so now I hope you have that memory. Hold on to it. And as a matter of fact, I know I'm jumping ahead, but put that in your brag book. We are going to build your brag book right now by the end of this evening. So let's jump into 3 myths that are often associated with sales. And myth number 1 is probably the most important myth, especially as service-minded women who want to do well and be well and serve well. And that first myth is business isn't personal. Well, I want to invite you to say that it is personal because we are giving ourselves, we give our all because we want to know that we really are tying the right solution to the right problem for the right client at the right time. And if it's not personal, then why are we doing it in the first place? So you've got to say, this is how I feel about my business, and this is how I feel when I get to serve. Business is personal. No, we shouldn't take things personally, which is different. But ultimately, if you're a service-minded expert trying to deliver an amazing experience, it is personal. It's personal for you, and it's personal for me too. The second myth, and this is taught by every single business school ever, every single sales program, always be closing, ABC. Well, there's a challenge with closing, especially if you're a transformational service provider. The minute something closes, that means it's gone. And if you're like me, and I think that you are because you're here, that means it doesn't leave opportunity for me to introduce a new solution or the next solution that clients might need. It shuts off the conversation, it closes off the energy that is required in a service-filled industry, in a mission-filled business. And so to be able to transition from always be closing to something else that is more fluid requires sunsetting this myth as well. It takes the edge off, right? If I'm always closing, then that means I'm always aggressive and I'm forcing solutions on people and it doesn't matter if they need it. We get to break from that mindset. And the last myth that we can talk about is that sales is only one-sided. And that's simply not true. Sales are transactions, sales are partnerships, and you should expect to receive something from this interaction, from this experience. What do you receive when you know you've done a job well for a client? Yes, it's also compensation, but there's something else. Otherwise, we wouldn't be the heartfelt women that we are doing the work that we do. What do you get? What do you feel when you know you've closed a sale and provided a solution that makes sense, that alleviated some pain that your client was experiencing? In the bridal industry, there's a theory that says I've never seen a naked bride, and that's true, right? Like no bride is going to walk down the aisle naked. And when I think about my approach to sales and selling, I said, if that's true, then really at the core of what I'm doing is I'm helping people make a decision. Now, some brides would say, oh my gosh, I'm not buying a dress because I shouldn't be getting married, or the decision is to delay the wedding, or to do a summer theme instead of a winter theme. That's a part of the process of helping them make a decision when they try on dresses. Is this the right dress for you? You found this person that you want to be with. Is this the style you want? It's about guiding towards decisions. Even tonight, I'm here to help you make a decision as well about the future of your business and business strategy. And does it make sense for us to continue our journey together? And so that's why I don't teach traditional business strategy. It's because what I left in corporate were all of the things that ailed me. I didn't feel comfortable recruiting, which is selling, to people who I know were not going to be served well or treated well by organizations. I could not sleep with myself knowing that I was setting someone up for less than success by offering them a job that I knew they were underqualified for. Because HR is selling. And to sell as love means I had to fall in love with what I was doing. So I didn't feel nauseous or manipulative when I'm engaging. And that's why it's so important, if you are a service-minded woman of faith, that you should not subscribe to traditional business strategy either. It doesn't work for us. We're not built for the aggressive sales that is touted as the best way to get things done. That's not our energy, because we start with service forward. We start with mission forward. We start with values first. And so that's why I want to introduce a different way of thinking today for you about how to build a sustainable business founded on your values and what you know to be true about you and the gifts that you are here to provide the world. To sell is love, and love means serving well. I want you to sit on that for a second. If I am selling and it is love, then that means I am serving well. With that in mind, I said, well, how do I make this practical and tangible? Not only for me, but the women that I serve. And I decided that if I was going to approach sales with a heartfelt mind, if I was going to approach sales with love first, then that meant I had to also augment my definition of sales. And this is my definition. This is not about you being a carbon copy of me. This is about you understanding the process and then adapting it to what you know to be true about you in your words. But my Sybil definition of sales is helping women make decisions today that are in alignment with their vision for tomorrow. And if I don't do this, then it is a disservice to who they are supposed to serve as well. Additionally, if I'm being obedient to the calling that I know I'm supposed to be an advocate for women in entrepreneurship, then that means I am called to serve. So the real question then is, as you jot down your definition of sales, if sales is serving, then what happens if I don't serve? What happens if I don't serve? What happens if I don't serve? If you truly believe that what you're offering is making a difference, then what does it mean if you don't sell? I want to invite you to think about a person, your ideal client. Some people call it an avatar, but that person that you know you are supposed to help and you don't do it. You don't do it because you feel like a fraud. You feel like you don't have enough information. You don't have enough tools. You need a little bit more. Maybe you find that person and you see them 9, 10 months from now, maybe a year and a half or 2 years from now, and they are the exact same position that they were when you first met them. I'll tell you what that is for me, because I am an advocate for women who are starting businesses or trying to grow and scale with sustainable business practices. Let's say I don't help that woman, and she goes out to network, and even when she does and she meets people, she can't figure out how to connect to them. She continues to do pro bono work or lowball her offers because she hasn't figured out how to set a firm pricing foundation. Maybe she's trucking along, trying to decide if she should quit her 9 to 5. She starts picking up part-time jobs. She keeps her side hustle going, thinking that that equates to 7 streams of income when really she's closing on burning out. And she's going to run out of money or give up forever on giving her gifts to the world because she was never guided on how to do it. That's what happens if I don't serve. What happens if you don't? Take a few moments and jot that down and let that sit. What are they missing out on? I know if I don't serve my women well, then they don't get to do the things that they are called to do. And that's not something that I want to live with. How major of an impact? What is the ripple effect for you not committing to this? When I realized my actions are tied to someone else's dream, that lit me on fire. And I said, I am going to go out and do the very best that I can to make sure that entrepreneurship is accessible to as many women as possible. It became my responsibility, and it's also your responsibility to whoever it is you are intended to serve. So hopefully this feels accurate and in alignment with what you're experiencing. Hopefully this is starting to make sense and shape what sales could and should feel like for you, to know that you feel honored in the process and you can commit to serving your clients authentically and thoughtfully and with intention. If I can do one thing today, I want to help you take this first step to falling in love, not only with sales, but also with what you're offering. One of my clients, she said this so quickly, I almost took a step back because we were chatting and I said, hey, here's what I see the breakdown. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And I was like, you're happy there's a breakdown in your business? She said, no, I'm happy to know I was doing it wrong, that I was doing this in an ineffective way and that there is a better option. That's why I do what I do. It's moments like that that remind me that I am on the right track and that I am serving in my strengths. So I want to introduce the 6 elements to selling with love. And each element will have a component for you to take a few moments to note on your worksheet. So if you need to, definitely press pause, but I want for you to be very thoughtful and intentional with what it is you are putting pen to paper with. And again, I'm going to use my words, but use your words. This is, again, not about you using the Sybil words, because these are my Sybil words. They make sense to me. I want for you to use your voice, for you to hear how you sound to you, so that you can connect to others who are going to hear you as well. This is the work. So the first element, and I call them my CSPs. There's 2 C's, 2 S's, 2 P's. The first element is connect. You must not only connect to yourself, but also to other people who will ultimately introduce you to your clients. And you've also got to connect with your potential clients. And there are a couple of ways that I connect to myself. The first thing that I do is, again, I pull out my ritual. Anytime I know I'm about to go into a client interaction, I say, okay, Sybil, how can I make sure that I am getting me mentally ready to receive whatever it is this woman is about to tell me, either about her work experience, the challenges she's experiencing in her business, and then I run down the list of everything that I can make sure, okay, this is a connection point I have. This is another connection point that I'm used to talking about. Literally 5 to 10 minutes before every call that I make, I do this practice because it helps clear the queue from all the administrative things that I've gone through, from that uncomfortable call or family obligations or putting out the dog or the mail or whatever those things are. It gives me an opportunity to recenter to me. So take a few moments. What are the things that you are going to do to connect to yourself? Next, connecting to other people. I have a 3-part pitch pyramid that helps me connect to other people, and I can do it really fast in 30 seconds. That way they know, and I know what they're saying on behalf of me. They know what they need to say, and I've already told them what to say. How do you connect to other people who will ultimately connect you to your ideal client? And then last, connection to my potential clients. I always start with the end in mind. Take a few moments and write down how you connect to yourself, how you'll connect to others, and how you'll connect with your potential clients. All right, next, capabilities. Element number 2 is capabilities. Remind yourself that you are more than enough. Every time I think about my capabilities, I think, oh, right, I am the expert. Or maybe I'm a specialized generalist in this area, and I can be honest about that capability as well. What other people recognize in me is that I am creative. I can come up with a business solution that someone has been noodling over for months. And within a few moments, I can help them figure it out and then create an immediate next step. And what clients experience from me is that they get healing in their business, which means they also get to do business well. This is where your brag book that I keep talking about really comes in. Anytime you are concerned or imposter syndrome kicks in, or you're fearful about a no, turn to your brag book. That is where you keep all of your testimonials. That is where you keep all of your work history and your hidden skills. that you never know if you're going to pop out. I never thought that the skills that I learned selling bridal dresses would serve me today, and yet here it is. Continue to build your brag book. Continue to affirm and remind yourself that you are capable. You are more than enough. You are an expert. You are creative, whatever those words are. Next, solutions. The solutions I present must align with me and provide value to my clients. If it does not align with my gifts and my me, I should not be offering it. If it is forcing me out of my comfort zone and it's something I've never even heard of, that might not be the thing I need to sell. But if it's within reach and I've got a working knowledge, and I can figure out a solution that makes sense, I get to provide value. You get to provide value. What are those solutions? Element 4 is so important, and that's safety. Not only for your client, but for you as well. It is important for you to create safety in 2 ways. First, you must believe what you are saying. And second, the client must feel that they can trust in what is being said. So the real question is, can your potential client believe you? Can they feel safe that you're not lying or manipulative or making it up or trying to oversell the experience? What are some things that might make them feel unsafe? And how can you make sure to level set early and often throughout that conversation, not only for yourself, but for them? Element 5, practice. You will feel more confident and empowered when you practice and understand your pricing. It's not enough to have your pricing written down on the back of the napkin. You need to have your pricing committed to memory and practice. I don't care if you have to do it in front of a mirror. Say it until you don't giggle. Say it until you believe you, and then know why your prices are the way they are. Once you get in the habit of practicing saying your pricing out loud, it will prevent you from lowballing and reduce the number of price-related objections that you get for the value of your services. And the last is process. When you develop a consistency in your process, that means you can and should be able to effectively communicate your pricing based on the value that you add. You should be able to clearly relay next steps for your clients. And you should be able to directly tie future solutions to the needs you know that they will have. You should be able to do all of this with ease. So those are the 6 steps, the 6 elements to selling with love. Moreover, though, I want to make sure that you understand, because again, this is even about us overcoming what we think. This is not about being pushy or passive. And so often we fear being pushy even while we're doing this. And so we end up passive. And then we don't come off as authentic. We come off as unsure. And if you're unsure, then your clients are going to read unsure as well. So the objective for you is to find that sweet spot in the middle and find center and balance. And so there are 3 ways that you can start today to slow down in selling so you can check yourself to make sure you're not falling on either end of the spectrum. Okay? The first thing you need to do is pause. There's power in being quiet. Pausing gives you time to think and respond appropriately. Pausing also gives your clients time to think about the information that you're giving them. When in doubt, say nothing. They will fill the space. Pausing gives them an opportunity to talk and you the opportunity to listen. If you are talking more than you're listening, then that means that you are falling prey to overselling, which means you might be pushy. And I know that's not intentional. Find room to pause. The next is permission. And this one is really tough, especially when we know we need the next sale. But you've got to give your client 2 spots for permission. The first one is permission to say no. And the second is permission to move forward. And you've got to give space for both. When you give someone permission to say yes and no, you give them decision-making authority. You empower them to make the best decision with the information you're giving them. And if you've paused and heard them, then that means your solution, when presented appropriately, is the right answer. And you will then be creating permission for them to say, yes, I want to learn more. The last thing you'll want to do, and again, for us spirited, service-minded women, is we've got to figure out how to rein in and control our passion. When we know someone wants to work with us, when we are sure we have that best solution, it's so important to rein in your passion. Why does this matter? It will stop you from doing apologetic pricing or excited pricing. This will stop you from throwing every possible solution you can possibly give them onto their plate. That will overwhelm them and that will devalue every single thing that you are offering. So those are the 3 action steps I invite you to take ASAP to navigate selling with love. Okay? So I want us to wrap up, but before I do, remember, these are not closing tactics. Closing means finished. And this is about continuing to open doors to create pathways for long-term or life-term relationships. I have women who still call me 15 years later asking, can they get on my calendar because they need help with another negotiation, or they're about to go up for a raise, or they're trying to figure out what next step they need to take in their business, or they have a new consulting plan and they're trying to figure out how to make sure they price effectively so they don't leave money on the table. It's not closing. It's opening. It's opening your eyes and your clients to new opportunities and new solutions that match their pain points. So, your 6 steps to get to yes. Your new approach. Number 1, understand how I sound to me so that I can be clear with clients. Number 2, I will commit my new definition of sales to memory and rehearse it every day until it is internalized. Number 3, I will know what my USP, my unique selling proposition is, and state it with confidence. Number 4, I will create space for no, but look forward to yes. Number 5, I will overcome objections with empathy and education, and not with resistance or resentment or anger or fear. And number 6, I will remember that I must end with the client making a decision. Those are the 6 steps to get to yes. This concludes the To Sell with Love series. And I'm really excited because I've got a lot of bonus information, but this ends the meat of what it is I wanted to share with you all today. I hope you enjoyed learning the 6 steps to getting to yes and selling with love. Here's what the full series looks like. You will get the foundations of self as a service, is what I call it, right? We are in the business of selling ourselves. We are therapists and mindset coaches and women who are giving ourselves, our experts, coaches, consultants, educators, speakers. I want to lead you through an 8-week journey for the foundations of selling yourself as a service. We are going to talk about the 3 no's. I'll tell you what that is. We're going to look at building intentional client journeys. To Sell with Love, you just got a sneak peek of that. And then we're going to look at how to professionalize and systematize your business so that we can avoid burnout. The real question that I help you answer is your business strategy out of order? And so often we focus on building email list or trying to figure out how to make sure we have followers. All of that is great and a part of an overall business strategy. But if your business is missing some key components, then it won't matter how many people like or follow you if it does not turn into conversions and transactions. And so I want to help you solve for your biggest business problem quickly. I want to help you understand what might be making business harder for you than it should be and provide you with some actionable steps that are going to be game changing for the future of what you do and how you do it. So again, we're going to cover the 3 no's. We're going to talk about building client journeys and some of the tools that I use. We're going to look at To Sell with Love and how to make sure you're pricing appropriately. And then professionalizing and systematizing the experience so that you can manage your business as it scales and grows. So really quickly, what are the 3 no's? Know your message, know what you do, and know what you're selling. Knowing your message is about finding an alignment with your gifts. This is not about functioning outside your gifts. I've worked with so many coaches who had other coaches or consultants tell them, oh, you've got to learn all of these things, or you need to change who you are, how you work. I even had a coach tell me that I had to start a membership. It's like, but that's not who I am. I'm not a joiner. Why would I do something that's not in alignment with what it is I do and who I am? So know your message is really about the messaging that people need to hear when they hear from you, and it needs to directly tie to the mission of the work you're doing and why you are doing it. So often women say, oh, I do this and I do that and I do that and I do this. This is the clarity that most people are missing and why client journeys are ineffective. It's because the messaging is off. The marketing's there, the messaging's off. The second no is know what you do. Know what you do. What is the thing that people are actually experiencing from you? And it might not be what you think it is, which means you're not positioning your value proposition appropriately. And the last is know what you're selling. And this comes down to value-based pricing. Knowing what you're selling and understanding how to quantify that effectively, not only for your client base, but to the market, is a skill that you can learn. And there are techniques that I have honed over the last 15 years that I will share with you on understanding the market, how to read market research, and how to make sure that what you're selling matches where you are today and where you want to drive your business to tomorrow. Additionally, it will also make sure that you ensure that you pay yourself. Next, we will look at client journeys. I'm going to talk about the multiple entry points that you should and can create as a service-minded woman. And I'm going to talk about more than social media. We all know social media, and humans are not algorithms. Our human psychology has not changed since we learned about fire. And we've overcomplicated things. And I want to help take the complicated and make it easy for you. You can and will be found on social media, and it has nothing to do with the updates that Facebook is doing or telling ChatGPT something. Until AI catches up with us, which I doubt they ever will, that's not where your energies need to be. And that's probably not what you enjoy anyway, because again, you are in the business of transformation and relationships, and those cannot happen with AI or algorithms that are upsetting the process. So I'm going to tell you about how I develop client journeys and what you can do to adapt it to your business, because again, the world only needs one symbol. That's more than enough. And the world also needs the most authentic you. So learning this process is about building it into your business framework that makes sense, not that you will copy paste. We'll also look at professionalizing and systematizing everything. This has to do not only with automation, but then also making sure that you understand how to spend your time as a CEO. I'm also going to share with you my 7 steps to scale. So often we think 7 streams of income means that we're a greeter at Walmart, we're running a business, we have a side gig, we have our 9 to 5, we're doing babysitting duty, we're detailing cars. That's not it. This is about scaling your business in a responsible way, an ethical way, and in alignment with the gifts you are supposed to provide the world. So I hope you can see how each of these need to be implemented into your business growth strategy. And like I said, I am really excited to join you on your journey. And I get it. Being a solopreneur can be hard. Being a singlepreneur can be difficult. Being a mompreneur can seem like the world is just on fire. That's why I want to help guide you to being everything you know you need to be, not only for your business, but then also for the people around you. So as a bonus, I want to invite you to my brand color guide workshop. And this one is about a 30 or 45-minute experience, totally for you, my gift to you, because while it's important to do all of the other things, it's also important to make sure your brand makes sense. And if you're still at odds with building a brand, I want to help you develop that color guide with intention, because there's a psychology to buying based off of colors. And I want to make sure that that color palette that you've chosen aligns with the messaging that people are experiencing. Otherwise, that's another area of a mixed message. So I want to invite that bonus to you today. A couple of other course highlights, because I want you to know that I want to help you implement, is that over the course of 8 weeks, we are going to dive into shifting from consumer to CEO. I'm going to talk about some buying habits, not only of how you are as a consumer, but what your clients might be experiencing. Each of us has a buying persona, and I want to help you uncover what that looks like. The other thing is about helping you shift from consumer to CEO. A lot of women that I work with are running their businesses as a consumer rather than as the woman in charge. And so this is about shifting how you view your business, how you view your business investments, partnerships, and relationships. The second, again, that's the highlight of everything I do, is the 3 Knows. Know your message, know what you do, and know what you're selling. Module 5 will dig deep into that client journey. Again, you just got a taste of To Sell with Love. Module 7, so very important and a step so many business women miss because we really do want to serve everybody. I'm going to teach you how to assess what is selling and how to remove or transition products so that they will sell. And we'll look at some key metrics that you should focus on, as well as some best practices in assessing the sales cycle specific to your business. And then in Module 8, we will wrap up with systematizing and professionalizing. This is about building in processes so this becomes sustainable and you do not burn out. You get to care for you while you are growing this business. What you'll also get is lifetime access to all of these modules through the teaching system, regardless of what teaching platform I'm on. Once you sign up for these courses, you will have lifetime access. You are grandmothered into the process. You'll also get all of the downloadables and bonus content that I've just talked about. Worksheets, bonus footage. Anytime I do mini series, you'll get access to all of that. And then anytime I do a course upgrade, because markets change, best practices are formed, I might have found an even faster way to help you grow and scale. I want to provide all of that to you. I love what one of my workshop attendees said. She said it was a reminder to ask for her worth and then add tax. That is what she got. And she also realized she's the only person who can help other people help choose her. Only she could communicate effectively the value that she brings. I've seen so many business owners who try to farm out sales too early, and then they miss clients because they've not learned how to communicate their value enough to teach other people how to say the exact same things in the way they do it. No one can sell you better than you. Or you might be like this young lady right here, who is in marketing and branding. And this just goes to show you, just like therapists need therapists, coaches need coaches, marketing and brand strategists also need marketing brand strategy. But what was really telling is that she felt like this was a healing process for her because she was offering so many services. She didn't understand why certain things were selling and certain things weren't. She didn't know why people were selecting some things and not other things. And now she has an umbrella message that guides every single conversation that she has. And you can get all of this for $9.97, 8-week program at $9.97. But I've got a special pricing for you because I believe so much in the work you're doing. I am willing to do this at $497. I want to help make sure that you make the most of this experience. And if that means trimming back a little bit, I am here for it. So in addition to the color story theme workshop, I also want to give you my time and energy management program. And I developed this because I realized that as a creative entrepreneur who turned into a specialized generalist who might be an expert at times, I needed help balancing all the parts of life, managing my business, growing and scaling, networking, doing client arrangements, and everything in between. And so I want to share my planning calendar with you and how to create successful annual views for your business that are metrics driven. You get to understand your business numbers, and you should be able to figure out what business projections look like for you quarter over quarter and year over year. So again, one payment of $497, or if you'd like to break it up over 3 months, it would be $159. And again, that's just for the processing fee difference. So one payment of $497 or 3 smaller payments. Again, this is about making this as accessible as possible for you at $159. And that will gain you access immediately to your 8-week process. So if you're feeling excited and ready to join, please definitely log on to www.thesagestewart.com, hit that backslash to sell with love. So I'm going to pop over to that page now so you can see exactly what it is. And so this is the page you'll see. And again, it's an 8-week online program designed to help you build your mission-based business. And I've got the 2 buttons here. I've also got a little bit more information about the program as well. A quick intro if you've never met me yet, as well as more information on the modules. Okay? I love that women are seeing that this can be done. I talk with Judy because she is a therapist and she's used to doing one-off experiences. And someone said, well, how much for a series? And she said, Sybil, I don't know what to do. And so we built a package that she did not think could be built so that she could turn her therapy experience into a consulting experience. Again, this is about getting real support in real time to help you move the needle on your business, develop sustainable income sources that are predictable, and so you can consistently pay yourself. And I get it. Every business decision can feel huge. Every decision feels big when we feel like we have to make it alone. When money feels a little tighter than we'd like. When we've already invested in other coaches and the things have not worked. And we're like, should I do another program? I get it. So I want you to know that the skills that I am teaching here for these business strategies are going to serve you the lifetime of your business. And it does not matter if you are in day 1 or if you're in year 5. These skills are worth having, developing, and honing. One of my other clients, after one session, realized that she needed to be clearer to herself first, which is what I talk about, help you hear you so other people can hear you too, so that she can communicate the value that she brings. I saw her value just from talking to her, and now she gets to share that value with the world. She gets to educate and build the speaking career that she desires because now she hears herself and she hears how she needs to sound to others to effectively get compensated at the rate she knows she deserves based off of her knowledge. So again, I want to make sure that you understand that this is a great investment. So again, I want to make sure you understand what this investment means to you, but then also to me. So my promise to you is this: if you do not find absolute value in going through this 8-week series, you say, Sybil, this was just not what I thought it was. I personally will spend 90 minutes with you one-on-one, helping you solve your biggest business challenge. The caveat is this: I will ask that when we meet, you have all of the worksheets completed and proof that you've gone through all of the modules. This is my guarantee to you, but this is also your promise to yourself that when you make this investment, you are going to commit to it. Not only that, right now I want you to make the commitment that this course is going to pay for itself after you sell to your next client. So how many of these courses, how many of your products will you need to sell for this course to pay for itself? If that number is 10 or 20 or 30, then definitely reach out to me because we need to look at your pricing. But really think, how can I ensure that this investment is worth my time and that it immediately pays for itself? So I've got one final bonus for you because I believe every woman entrepreneur should be a speaker. I'm going to set you up with my 45-minute intro into public speaking. I want to help you understand how you can generate money immediately from developing into a paid professional speaker. It is so important to position yourself as an expert, and the best way to do that is to get on stage. So, really quick overview, just in case you want to take some notes. Module 1, from consumer to CEO, we're going to look at how you shift your mindset from consumer to CEO in your business, and then also look at the buying habits that your clients have. Second, we're going to go through modules 2, 3, and 4, the 3 knows: know your message, know what you do, and know what you're selling. Module 5 is going to be that client journey experience that is built custom for your business and not a knockoff of some other product that you saw. Module 6, to sell is love. Again, you got a big sneak peek in this today. Module 7, assessing what's selling, eliminating what's not. And Module 8, let's get ready to systematize so you can grow and scale with thoughtfulness and intention. So right now, I want you to check in with yourself, because I know this probably was a lot of information, and changing our perspective on sales can be a challenge, but it's not something you can't learn. And I also want to check in with yourself to say, is this the business strategy that's been missing for me to get consistent income in my business, for me to be able to pay myself what I know I deserve, for me to stop price wobbling or lowballing or getting into pricing conversations when I should be talking about value? I want you to check in yourself right now. Say, is it time for me to commit to building this business that I know I'm called to do with support that I know I need? And like I said, I am here on this journey with you. And if at the end of 8 weeks, you're like, Sybil, something's missing, you get to tell me what's missing and I will help you figure it out. You get to put time on my calendar, and together we will walk through a strategy that works for you. That's just how much I believe in this process. I don't think you're going to need that 90 minutes, but in the event you do, it is there. That is my guarantee to you, my promise to you, that I will always be here for you. So now what I want to do is go through some FAQs about this 8-week experience, and maybe some SAQs, some should you ask questions. So first, how much time will it take? How much time will you have to invest every week? Anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. Again, the modules are from 75 to 90 minutes. And if you're doing 30 minutes of active work, worksheets, practice, it will be about a 2-hour weekly investment. Okay? Take this time to be thoughtful and say, I can commit to 2 hours a week if it means that I am getting consistency in my business. I'm getting consistent clients and sales in my business. The next question that a lot of women come to me ask is, what if I don't want to niche down? And I say, I didn't niche down either at first, and that's okay. I think so often we niche down too fast and we miss our ideal client, or we pick a niche and it's the wrong niche. So if you don't want to niche down, the 3 no's will help you to serve well until you get ready to. It might not be the time for you to niche down yet. That's the discovery process that you will go through in this 8 weeks. The next question, I've been in business for a few years. Is this just for beginners? No, it's not. And in fact, if you've been in business for a few years and you've not reassessed your clients, that might be why the pipeline is drying. There might be nothing wrong with your sales technique. There might not be anything wrong with your products, goods, or services. It might be that you are no longer in alignment with the new problems you are meant to solve. I had a particular client, she'd been in business for years, and I was thinking, well, what am I going to do with her? She's been in business longer than me. And then We did a strategy session and she said, "Oh my gosh, Sybil, this was my blind spot. I didn't know I could offer this one thing." And then she went off and offered it. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you've been in business for a few years, it might be time for you to pivot. This is the perfect business strategy pivot opportunity. But Sybil, I don't have an email list or business assets. That's okay. I started my email list with 0. And if that is you, please know that you do not need an email list to effectively gain clients. And in fact, once you gain clients, the email list will grow organically. You don't need business cards or anything else. What you need is an intentional approach and an effective business strategy to help you connect to the right clients based off of what you know you are supposed to be serving and selling. What if I sell products? I do have a couple of clients who sell products. The caveat is this: they sell products that came from them. Handmade jewelry, candles, lotions and potions, that sort of thing. Products that are directly tied to their business mission. And a part of their product sales is people getting to know them. So that works. But if you're a 100% e-commerce, maybe you're doing only wholesale, maybe you're trying to get your products in stores really fast, your physical products, this might not be the best solution for you. And there are other people who are experts at product-based selling. This is about helping women who are experts sell themselves as a service. What if I can't keep up? You get to hit pause. You get to rewind. You get to watch the videos again. You get to email me and say, "Hey, Sybil, I have a question." It is okay to not watch the entire video in its entirety in one sitting. Maybe you have to do it in 20 or 30-minute increments over the course of a couple of days. Make sure that this feels like a part of your natural day and not something more to do to tick off your checklist. This is about building your business intentionally and to make sure you're getting it done well. It's not a race. What's the difference between acting now or later? When you sign up, you'll know I do not believe in faux scarcity. And as a matter of fact, I tried a faux scarcity technique, and that's exactly what I got. I told somebody, I was like, "Oh, I've only got 3 spots left." And I really had 8. I only got 3 clients because I engaged in faux scarcity. And I don't teach that, and I don't believe that. What I teach is honest scarcity. The difference between acting now or later really comes down to how much time you can wait before it's too late, before you say, "You know what, I quit." The difference between acting now or later is a difference in pricing as well. Right now, I've got the special pricing at $497. I do not promise that that's going to be the same price 3 months from now or 6 months from now. So really acting now is in your best interest, especially if you know that this is the business solution that will make the difference between you growing and scaling or being one of those businesses that closes. Can I do the course in less than 8 weeks? While I appreciate your energy, and I definitely have done some rapid programming and accelerators, I intentionally have the modules triggered for 1 week at a time to make sure that you are pacing, taking in the information, and practicing everything. It is designed to build one on top of the other, not to be consumed like a fire hose. I do not want you to be overwhelmed, and I want for you to know that you can hit pause and practice and reach out to me if you need to make sure that everything is falling into place for you to build your clientele. So, like I said, really high level, this is what you can expect from the 8-week business strategy program. And at the heart of what I do, like I said, is the 3 no's, because so often that's what's preventing successful selling. It's not that you don't know how to sell. It's not that people don't like you. It's not that you don't have a quality product. It's usually one of the 3 no's. You're priced too low or too high. You're getting stuck on values. Your value-based pricing model isn't working for your target audience. We will go through all of that together. So like I said, bonus is the color psychology experience. And that workshop really is key, especially if you've been toiling over color swatches and trying to figure out what colors to put on your web page or how to design your business cards or material assets. I'll also include a 15-minute complimentary hot seat. And this is if you truly get stuck at any times during your 8 weeks. I will give you a private booking link once you sign up, and you get to use that link if you are challenged by something. You're saying, you know what, this one doesn't make sense to me. I am trying to be as accessible to you as possible to make sure you get everything you need. I'm on a mission to make sure that women-owned businesses stay open, that I take down all of the barriers to entry for this market. And like I said, you'll get that intro to public speaking, because every woman should have a public speaking component to her business. Those are the modules that you can expect. And again, they will roll out week by week once you sign up. This was definitely a highlight. And most of the content for To Sell is Love, so you're already on your way. But the rest of the modules there are listed and in order of how you will receive them. So now that you're all set, I invite you to make that decision. I invite you to invest in your business, to log on to my website, thesagestewart.com/tosellislove, and to allow me to join you on your fabulous entrepreneurial journey. Thank you for sitting and watching, and I look forward to seeing each of you on the other side.